There's one time.
We are live, Your Worship.
Thank you.
Cheers.
If you, I lost my phone. If you find a blue Alcatel phone, it might be mine.
Okay.
I lost it last Thursday. Can't find it anymore.
Keep an eye out.
Right.
Cheers. Good seeing you.
Lost it. Good seeing you, Matt.
Yeah, see you.
See you later.
Into the gallery. Thank you. Okay. I'll call this.
You can't even get through a meeting these days.
I'll call this meeting to order with adoption of the agenda. Councillor Cherry, seconded by Councillor Devlin. We'll move on to adoption of the minutes from the committee of the whole meeting of October 10th. Councillor Devlin, seconded by Councillor Cherry. Is there any business arising from those minutes? I see no questions. We'll move straight on to Chief Drose and the fire third quarter update.
Thank you, Your Worship. Ms. Delisle has the report available, so you can follow along. I'll summarize some of the proceedings from the last 3 months. So this would be July to end of September. And it normally just outlines the fire prevention efforts that we've been working on, as well as our incidences, our call stops, training, and recruitment and retention. So some highlights from the fire prevention inspections. There were 94 inspections completed that included 15 re-inspections for deficiencies, as well as 33 plans reviews. So we received plans from the planning department. We put our eyes on them to see if there's any concerns, give them some advice on those for fire prevention, access, any of those sorts of code things. We had 10 reportable fires in the third quarter, one of which, of course, is the commercial fire there, known as the Frontier Fire. In excess of $1.1 million for those reportable fires. There were 10 in this third quarter compared to 4 in the third quarter of 2023. So it was a little bit busier this year than last year. 3 daycare groups came through, as well as I'll report more fully in the fourth quarter, which won't be till January, but I just wanted to highlight. We had 15 classes of school kids come through the fire hall for Fire Prevention Week. And 3 of those kids were very lucky to be selected for their coloring efforts as fire chief for a day. So we had a fantastic morning with them there, and they had a great day. So it's on Facebook if you haven't had a chance to look at it and you're curious what it's all about. Fire Suppression Division, our average response time for structure fires improved slightly, down by 7 seconds. However, our first responder calls increased slightly this period, up by 40 seconds. Up 7 seconds. I think I got those backwards. We received 154 calls this quarter, which is up from the third quarter in 2023 of 124 calls. So whatever percentage that is, not quite sure, but it's quite a bit for a small department like us. And you can see the distribution of calls on the bottom right there, shifted from Fridays as the busiest day of the week to Tuesdays. Not really, or some Mondays. Not really sure why that is, but a lot of it has to do with what people are doing, time of day. We actually see a lot of calls right at 1 o'clock and a lot of calls at 6 p.m. So people are going right back to work after lunch at 1 o'clock, and 6 o'clock people are getting home. They're starting to cook meals, getting their day wrapped up. So those are a couple of interesting times and times of the day of the week. On the training division on the next page, training sessions, 440 hours of training through the department, down from the previous quarter of 1,100 plus hours. And that had to do with our first responder recertification courses. We had some other training happening through the department to keep those skills up there. The first responder is like a 3-year period, so we have to recertify every 3 years and that. So there's quite a bit of time put into that in the previous quarter. And a whole lot of different disciplines, if you will, that we train for. We're working through the summer was the wildfire training, of course. It took up a bit of time there. Fortunately, we didn't have any wildfires nearby this year, so that was fortunate for all of us. The volunteer recruitment, we lost another firefighters. So we've lost 3 firefighters, volunteer firefighters this quarter. So we're down to now 23. We just lost another one as well, so that'll be put in the next quarter. But we're losing more firefighters this year. The 2021 intake. So there is some interesting stuff here. The 3 resignations. One was in 2024, so they had just less than from the department. The other 2 were from the 2023 intake, and they find the time commitments to be unachievable in a sense of work and family and all those other responsibilities that they have to take care of. The one we just lost took a job in another city, so that's precluded them from being able to participate here. And one of those was actually hired as a career firefighter back on the East Coast. So congratulations to him as well. So on that note, we are going to begin our recruitment this month in the next few weeks, if not next week, for the 2025 intake. So we're looking at onboarding another 8 to 10 volunteers to help replenish those classes that were lost. Yeah, so 8 total so far this year has been lost. Interestingly, we onboarded 8 new volunteers this year and lost 8. So we're on the even keel here. Emergency management on the next page. The draft emergency management program update is being formatted. So it's gone through the process and it's just getting formatted in the Word doc for final adoption and implementation on that. The emergency program also renewed the lease with the CSRD for the airport EOC. So that's good there. And throughout the summer, city staff attended various days in the EOC as we had those wildfires to the south and by Trout Lake there. So that was a little bit more opportunity for the staff who are trained but have little experience. So we got a chance to sit in the EOC and gain some experience and some knowledge there over the summer without actually having a major emergency on their hand to learn in the hot seat, if you will. Some of the challenges that we've got, again, high turnover is consistent. So we've brought on 8, lost 8, so that turnover. Fortunately, they're not all the same people, so we're hoping that we can build our crew experience up. 79% of the volunteers have less than 5 years experience right now. So it's roughly around 2.75 years of experience average with the crew right now. And we had a few apparatus breakdowns that needed to be taken out of service for maintenance and repairs on that. All of our trucks passed their annual maintenance for the preventative maintenance program and their pump tests. With the exception of tender 5 is right on the edge, and that's the one that's next to be replaced. So that's in the upcoming years. And I think that's all I've got. I'm happy to take any questions or clarify anything for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Chief. Any questions from council? Councilor Sanders.
Thank you. Through the chair to Chief DeRosa, I have a question in regards to the 10 reportable fires that occurred in this quarter. Based on the damages that were sustained at 1.1 million, how many of those reportable incidents consisted of actual fires that resulted in damages? Because I would imagine that the Frontier Hotel would probably sustain most of that sum of damage. So my curiosity is how many of those were actual structural fires or required any kind of, fire suppression activities.
Your worship, to State Attorney's question. Obviously, the Frontier was the major fire. It had sustained fires in the past. So I'm not sure what its real value was there. There was damage sustained to the motel strip that's attached to the fast gas. The other fires that we had in that quarter, we had a couple of vehicle fires. So those are included in that. We had a couple small outdoor fires. We had a trailer fire or a mobile home fire over on Oscar. So that was included in that. And then we had another structure fire. It was a second floor fire on Highway 23 North, right next to the Stay Cool Automotive.
Okay.
And so I don't have specific numbers for those value losses, but those are all included in that.
Okay.
So they're all structure fires, vehicle fires. Outdoor fires are reportable, but generally there's no value attached to those. And so I think there was 2 small brush fires. One was down on the Airport Way. Where was the other one? Don't hold it for but I think all but 2 were actually value losses on those.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other questions from councilors? I see no more. Thank you, Chief. Okay, we'll move in camera pursuant to section 90.1J and K of the community charter.
5-minute break.
We can have a 5-minute break once we move
You
in
need a
camera.
motion.
Yeah. Jerry, Councilor Devlin.
Just a point for discussion on the motion on the table. I know it's unusual, but I feel I don't have enough information to support this resolution, just because I don't have enough information about the justifications under 90J and K. And I was wondering if staff could provide a little bit more information as to why. And just a bit of background, I did reach out to Councilor Luciel this morning, and he said he had or did reach out to staff to find out more about this, and I'm just trying to seek if we have an update.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Orlando. What staff are doing is specific to section 90. It has to do with the current MRDT contract and agreement between us and Tourism Revelstoke, which makes it eligible to go in section 90. I'd like to talk to council about that, plus other agreements that we have signed with our stakeholders regarding MRDT funds. And I would like to brief council. And with that, I've invited one of our stakeholders, Tourism Revelstoke, to come and discuss said contracts with council in camera. The reason for this is we need a tactical plan adopted by the end of this month. The tactical plan was to come to today's meeting. There were some inconsistencies last week internally that staff dealt with involving the Tourism Revelstoke folks and also the Chamber of Commerce and our VIC services. That led to a delay of the tactical plan being presented. Therefore, we only have one day unless we call a special council meeting, and that's November 26th, to have the tactical plan presented to council. But between now and then, we are hoping to have this discussion today so we provide clarity to council before the tactical plan is adopted by council, hopefully by the end of the month to meet the provincial deadline.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the update, and thank you to staff for providing us an explanation, and thanks for acting Mayor Councilor Luciel for providing information. Just generally speaking, I'm happy with the explanation. I'm happy to move forward, but generally speaking, I'm going to need more information prior to these meetings. You know, we have a 2-hour almost allotment, and I need to know what I'm heading into, and I can't, under the community charter, support moving into in-camera without having that information. So I realize sounds like there's a deadline issue, but I need more information in the in-camera reports to be comfortable moving ahead. And thank you for that.
Call vote.
Both moving camera. Carried. Now we'll move the camera. We'll take a 5-minute break. Could somebody mute